Fear is a weapon. Fear is the oldest form of control, and it still works better than anything else. When people are scared, they stop questioning. They stop thinking. They just obey. Politics? Fear is the main tool. Leaders constantly warn, if you don't support us, the country will collapse. The other side will ruin your life. It doesn't matter if the threat is real or exaggerated. Fear makes you pick sides and follow orders. News? Fear sells. That's why most headlines sound like disasters waiting to happen. Crime waves, new diseases, economic crashes. The scarier the story, the more people stay glued to the screen, and the more ads get sold. Advertising? Same trick. Think about all those products sold with fear. Without this alarm system, your family isn't safe. Without this anti-aging cream, you'll look old and irrelevant. Without this insurance, you'll be ruined. Instead of selling solutions, they sell fear of what might happen if you don't buy. Here's the truth. Fear shuts down rational thinking. And when you're scared, you're easy to control. Social proof. Humans are wired to copy the crowd. If everyone's doing something, it must be the right thing, right? That's why trends spread like wildfire. A pair of sneakers sells out overnight. Not because they're special, but because everyone else bought them. A song goes viral, and suddenly it's good, even if it's just average. Restaurants even fake lines outside because if you see a crowd, you'll assume the food is worth it. Politicians and companies know this trick. They don't just sell products or ideas. They sell the image that everyone else already believes in. Ever hear, 9 out of 10 doctors recommend this. Millions have already joined. The majority agrees. That's not proof. That's pressure. And it works. Because deep down, people fear standing out. Nobody wants to be the weird one who goes against the group. But here's the problem. The crowd isn't always right. History is full of moments where the majority believed lies, and only a few dared to question them. Social proof doesn't create truth. It just creates conformity. Authority bias. Slap on a lab coat, a suit, or a fancy title. And suddenly, people believe almost anything you say. We're trained to trust authority. If a doctor says it, it must be healthy. If a politician says it, it must be true. If an expert on TV says it, it must be fact. But here's the danger. A title doesn't equal truth. History is packed with examples. Doctors once advertised cigarettes as safe. Politicians have sold wars with lies. Experts have endorsed fad diets, miracle cures, and junk science, all because someone was paying them. Even at work, you've probably seen it. A boss makes a bad decision, but nobody speaks up. Because they're the boss, they must know best. The problem is, authority can blind us. We stop questioning. We hand over our judgment to someone else. Respect authority? Sure. Obey it blindly? Dangerous. Because power doesn't always come with honesty, and credentials don't guarantee truth. Scarcity. Only 3 left in stock. Limited time offer. You'll miss out if you don't act now. Scarcity is one of the oldest tricks in marketing. It pressures you to act fast and before your brain has time to think. Online shopping uses it everywhere. Countdown timers on sales. 1 seat left at this price. Flash deal ends in 10 minutes. It makes you panic. It makes you click buy. Even in everyday life, exclusivity is sold as value. A club with a long waiting list feels more desirable. A product labeled limited edition suddenly feels priceless. An invite-only event makes you feel special, even if it's just another party. But here's the truth. Scarcity doesn't always mean value. Most of the time, it's manufactured. A trick. A way to make you chase something you don't even need. Scarcity hijacks your fear of missing out. And when you're chasing the last piece of pie, you forget to ask if the pie was even worth eating. Divide and rule. One of the oldest tricks in the book. Keep people fighting each other so they never notice who's pulling the strings. Politicians love this. Instead of fixing real problems, like housing, healthcare, or corruption, they frame everything as us versus them, left versus right, rich versus poor, immigrants versus citizens. While we argue with each other, the real issues stay untouched. The media plays along too. News networks hype outrage stories. Look what that group is doing to your group. It keeps you glued to the screen, but distracted from asking, wait, who actually benefits when we're divided? It happens at work too. Ever see Employee of the Month boards? Or teams pitted against each other? Suddenly, workers compete with each other, instead of noticing low pay, long hours, or bad leadership. And on social media, algorithms push division. Angry posts spread faster than calm discussions, so we argue online all day, while the platforms cash in on our attention. Here's the truth. A divided crowd is easy to control, but a united crowd? That's a threat. Celebrity influence. Famous faces have power. They sell products. They shape trends. They even push ideologies. Why does it work? Because people want to copy those they admire. If a celebrity uses it, if an influencer wears it, if a star supports it, then it must be worth following. But admiration isn't proof, it's persuasion. Think about it. Celebrities are paid millions to hold up a drink, to wear a brand, or to promote a cause they barely understand. It happens in politics too. A famous actor gives an endorsement, and suddenly millions of fans treat it as fact. Even in daily life, micro-influencers flood social media. They make you think, if they're living that lifestyle, maybe I should too. But here's the catch. They don't always believe in what they're selling. They just believe in the paycheck. Celebrity influence works because it bypasses logic and tugs directly at emotion. And if you don't pause to question it, you're not choosing, you're just copying. Repetition effect. Say something once, people might doubt it. Say it 100 times, and suddenly it feels like truth. That's the power of repetition. It bypasses logic and drills straight into memory. Think about advertising. You don't remember the product because it's great. You remember it because you've seen the same jingle, the same logo, the same slogan 1,000 times. Politics, same trick. Repeat a phrase like fake news, war on terror, or make X great again enough times. And it sticks, whether it's true or not. Even social media runs on repetition. A meme gets reposted so often it becomes fact in people's minds, even if it started as a joke. Here's the danger. Repetition doesn't prove truth. It just programs belief. The more you hear it, the more you trust it, without ever stopping to ask, wait, is this actually real? The illusion of choice. You think you're choosing freely, but most of the time the choices are already set up to benefit someone else. Politics? Classic example. Two parties, same promises, same failures. You feel like you have a voice, but no matter who wins, the system stays the same. Shopping? Same trick. You walk into a store and see 50 different brands. But look closer. Most of them are owned by the same two companies. Coke or Pepsi, Nike or Adidas. Doesn't matter which you pick. The money flows to the same pockets, even online. Think about social media. You can choose Facebook or Instagram or WhatsApp, but they all belong to Meta. Your choice was never really yours. The illusion of choice keeps you calm. It makes you feel like you're in control. But here's the truth. If every option leads back to the same power, you weren't choosing. You were just following the script. Information overload. We live in an age of endless information. News, tweets, notifications, opinions. It never stops. At first it feels like power, knowledge at your fingertips, but too much information? It doesn't make you smarter. It makes you numb. Politics? Every scandal breaks is urgent, one after another, until people stop caring altogether. It's all just noise. The media knows this too. Flood people with breaking news, hot takes, and endless debates. And no one has time to pause and ask, wait, what actually matters here? Social media cranks it up. Scroll long enough and you'll see 100 opinions on the same topic, contradicting each other, canceling each other out. The result? Confusion, paralysis, silence. Because when your brain is drowning in noise, you stop digging for truth, and you settle for distraction. That's the trick. It's not about hiding information anymore. It's about burying you under so much of it that you don't know what's real. Emotional triggers. Humans like to think we're rational, but the truth? Emotions run the show. Marketers, politicians, media, they all know this. If they can make you feel, they don't need to make you think. Anger? It's the fastest way to get clicks, votes, and attention. That's why headlines scream outrage. That's why social media pushes the most divisive posts. Because when you're mad, you share before you think. Pride? It's the fuel behind slogans like, buy this car. It shows you've made it. Wear this brand. It proves you're special. They're not selling products. They're selling identity. Hope? It's the sweetest trigger of all. Campaigns promise a better future. Ads promise a new you. And people buy into it because hope feels good, even if it's hollow. Here's the truth. Emotions bypass logic. They get you to act first and question later. And that's exactly why they're used against you. Gaslighting. One of the most powerful forms of control isn't telling you what to think. It's making you question what you already know. That's gaslighting, twisting facts, denying the obvious, making you wonder if you're the crazy one. It happens in relationships. You're overreacting. That never happened. You're imagining things. Slowly, you stop trusting your own memory. It happens in politics. Leaders rewrite history. They deny their own words caught on camera. They say, don't believe what you saw, believe what we tell you. It happens in media too. Headlines flip the script, turning victims into aggressors or covering lies as if they're just another perspective. The result? Confusion, doubt, silence. When you can't trust your own judgment, you look to someone else to define reality for you. That's the trap, because once they control your perception, they control you. Normalization, the fastest way to make people accept something shocking, repeat it again and again until it stops feeling strange. It happens in media. A scandal breaks. At first, outrage. Then it's reported every day. Then it becomes background noise. Eventually, people shrug. That's just how things are. It happens in politics. New rules, new restrictions. At first, people resist. But over time, the unusual becomes normal life. It happens online, too. Extreme opinions flood your feed. The more you see them, the less extreme they feel. Soon, what once seemed absurd feel ordinary. That's the trick. Normalization doesn't convince you overnight. It wears you down. It numbs you until one day, you don't even notice what you've accepted. The big lie. Here's the paradox. Small lies are easy to catch, but a massive lie, one so outrageous, so unbelievable, most people assume it must be true. Surely no one would dare lie about something that big. That's exactly why it works. History is full of examples. Leaders pushing false narratives to start wars. Corporations hiding massive scandals. Movements built on fabricated truths. And once a big lie spreads, it takes root. People defend it, they fight for it, because to admit it was a lie means admitting they were deceived. That's the genius of the big lie. It's not just about fooling you once. It's about making you cling to the lie, even after you start to doubt it. Because if the story collapses, so does the world you believed in. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.